magical cookie that stuns people. Massive shot. No, gun.
Nope. Gun.
Fast gun.
How about gun go burr at level 1 for me? Thank you very much. Yeah.
And it works. I mean, we've seen Lil really abuse that build, particularly with the javelin. Bottom, yeah,
Might be dead?
Ooh,
no, he's gonna live.
Does not get the final hit on him. Sayu was blocking him as well, making sure they couldn't quite do that. The reactive armor not coming level 1 here for Petuchar, instead trying to get more out of the lane with a Timber Chain. Usually his build is better because you have, again, see, more mobility here. But you're vulnerable to ganks like this, and TSA finds the opportunity, connects Kinetic Field, but no! Kinetic Field's incomplete in time, and Petuchar can just get away with a nice little Timber Chain. Very, very close though for TSA.
I think you can just yeet yourself out of Kinetic Field, can't you, with Timber Chain? If I'm not mistaken.
I was assuming because he casted it there, they would just stop you halfway.
Because I assume so.
I mean, that's what I thought too, but now seeing him do that, I thought that, you know, what was the plan otherwise?
Yeah, I agree. I agree completely, actually. Such because second points not in glimpses, I feel like a little bit rare. We're going to be trying to use Kinetic Field here. Could be nice versus the Tusk again, just being able to zone him out, make tag team a little bit more useless. But because the way that Kinetic Field is coded...
Oh, yeah, you're right. You are right, yeah.
What it does is if you try and walk through Kinetic Field, it just sets your movement speed to 0, so you can't walk out of it. But there is that bug where you could be forced out of it backwards with Hurricane Pike.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You can build a tree and get out of it as well if you're in a certain spot, you know, so I feel like for sure Timber Chain can get you out.
I thought that too, but seeing him build it, I was almost certain that it was going to stop him.
I agree completely with you.
Because I'm going to trust the pro player over my own knowledge, but I guess no, he was not right indeed. You cannot get, you do get through it. So Timber Chain will stay in Kinetic Field every single time. And that's when we question, as you said, why not glimpse level 2 to just get the kill potentially, right? I mean, it's very low, really low cast range.
Top lane?
You might as well get it. Yeah, you see.
It looks like this time around it wasn't actually even a creep. Last time it was the Centaur Conqueror being put to good use here by Vanscore. Sorry, by No Fear that is, but not this time around. TSA getting going on down bottom though.
Good try to trust. Guess Kinetic Field. Maybe this is why he wanted the Kinetic Field. That's used it here. No! Activates the Fairy Fire to fail as he falls through Petuchar. It was just to cancel a Tusk. That actually makes a lot of sense. Just to try to cancel it. I mean, he didn't do it here, but I can see the logic behind it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. Mag top lane, Limitless putting himself in the line of fire to make sure No Fear does not get killed there by Smiling Out and Vanscore. Found himself in a bit of a tough spot. Healing Salve will get him basically to full HP. It will, actually, because not a whole lot of HP on Enchantress to go around.
She gets the... she's kind of food for the Snapfire, to be honest. And for the troll. In fact, even afterwards, if you stack enough fervor, it's just so difficult to stack fervor on the enchanted.
They're gonna attack for Genji. In the mid lane, he gets off of actually a nice pretty good remnant indeed. Is that gonna be enough to save him? Tag team. Oh, okay. The tornado still gets the kill. Tornado still gets the kill. I thought he just maybe saved Dendi there potentially, but the press kid knew how much damage he's got with tornado.
That was pretty good though for them. Bottom lane, they're trying to do the same thing. Petuchar, nice Watson. Phantom striking over to the creep wave, but Petuchar already has enough stacks of armor. There's little TSA can do to him, and also very close to the trees, by the way. TSA has to be careful. Kinetic Field set up. There we see the Timber Chain.
There it is.
So okay, so does TSA, is he just trying to force the Timber Chains, or what's...
I guess it's not the most mana-intensive ability, and we've already got Soul Ring for Timbersaw. Not to mention, what you get 10 mana basically back from every single time you use it with the Magic Stick. So basically, it's only a net deficit of 50 mana for that in exchange for what, like 70 for the Disruptor. So that's not something I.
You can just spam Thunderstrike, which seems a better build.
Yeah, that's not something I completely understand here going for the points, but maybe it'll make a little bit more sense as the lanes continue to develop. I mean, it's gotten Tusk out of the lane for now, but he wanted to gank mid anyway, so I'm not really seeing it right now, but I'm looking forward to being proven wrong. There's No Fear top lane. Is he eating a cookie? Oh, actually, it's Smiling Knight who eats the cookie, and then eats No Fear. Some venison for dinner.
Little chat skill, always use lore, like before No Fear can pick up the 4 and 10. It seems like No Fear is kind of he's supposed to be the 5 from Steam. Plays it as a 4, so it seems like TSA will have to be playing 5 this game. I think it's fine for me. And they have a plan around it. Watson, they decided to go early for the dreads, just trying to surprise a bit more in the lane. Watson's struggling now, Sayu trying to find the ice shards. Has tag team on level 1, but it's level 3, so he's setting a point potential TP cancel, potential more damage, as Watson continues to farm. Tushar like, I'll just kill you, GSA. I'll just kill you, watch me. I have 6 stacked of reactive armor. Now he has a bunch of them more. And Tushar is safe forever.
Nicely done. And I guess another reason why I'm a bit surprised to see that 7 points in kinetic fields. Oh, hold that thought. If that's Tushara, he's got plenty of stacks here. 3 points
Okay,
in
see, that's the
reactive
use of
armor.
it. He's not
He's not gonna. Okay, well he's gonna die if he timber chains 2 feet. That's almost guaranteed. Snowball, we'll save him for now. He's gonna go over to the small camp here. Tushara does continue to regen in the snowball as well. As Watson makes the jump shot. They're off the mark though. He should be dead here. If not the PA, then definitely to the Thunder Strikes.
That was very close actually, so you did a really good job there. The Ice Shark just shy of closing into the PA and ensuring that Tushar can get out of their line. That was still very difficult, but honestly, just for killing Timbersaw with a Disruptor and PA, kudos. That's a win in Europoke. At least, even if the game doesn't really matter that much, I mean, you are talking to Timber, he is...
Wait, hold on. Vanscore is maybe gonna die here to the Enchanted Creeper here? Yep. Alright.
Okay.
Sorry, I saw that one playing out and you were making a good point. Oh my god, you question marked it!
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Oh,
Sorry, I was seeing that creep killing Vanscore. Wow. I can't believe at the end of it. How did that happen?
Don't worry, in case you're like, I don't even have the Dota game tapped into the laning stage because it's boring. Don't worry, I've got a replay here for you.
Oh, please.
Let's go ahead and take another look at that one. The rare laning stage replay. So he was just following around with the creep because obviously the creep's got like 1400 HP and he's like, alright, I guess I'll kill you.
He did die for that. But
He did.
The creep pretty much killed him alone.
He did, but also, you know, it's not just about the whatever 100 damage and the 1 second stun you do with Hope Stomp. It's also about the mental damage that you deal to Vanscore. With not only the question mark, but then the tip to follow through. But it's GSA. Oh, really nice shot. He got his glimpse with Snowball. Nicely done.
Yeah, that was really well done, but that TP really helpful, right? Assuming that the Timbersaw was going to like keep. If he hadn't done that great snowball play, I think. He has level 6 this one. So Empire at least accomplished their goal of
under attack.
putting enough pressure at the bottom lane. Mine has good farm, and I would say the Prescott is ready to gank. He just needs the urn charges to set himself in the mode.
Is there any beef? Is there any beef between Nopier and Vanscore you can think of? Is there any board here?
Bottom tower is staggering. Like a
They have played
drunk
together.
sailor.
That's I'm excited.
But I know of.
Radiant's bottom
Either way, I
tower
mean,
faces a stiff
having
wind.
a fun time poking at Vanscore here. We'll see if that continues to pay off for him as the game continues to develop.
Bottom tower is under
Watson
attack.
already into the jungle, having been really just immediately booted from the lane by Tushara. And of course, having the Magnus on the team, even a Mag that's not maxing in power, you're still not going to go to the battlefield on the PA. It's now actually 4-1-1 here on the Mag. So PA is not going to have a huge benefit from these early powers. Has no fear, going to be tanking again. There he goes. 2 urn charges though for the press kit, so he's going to be super active now as there's the tip back from the press kit.
That gank is very, very important actually. Being able to get the urn charges for that now allows you to gank
Dire's middle tower is under
both
pressure.
sides complete.
A gift from
So
the
Tushara has recovered. One of the things that Timbersaw does best is you lose the lane, you recover nice and stronger. So it's not like you're completely out of the game yet. You can stock great space now.
Sorry, just Smiley Knight farming at the tier 2 tower with a PA just chilling there is a bit of a risky move, but I guess he knows that Mag is too interested in getting the top tier 1 tower, which is so far very healthy. It's only taking 90. Okay, let's just say 75 damage. We'll call it there. It's not. It's 85 damage. It's 85. Final answer. But hasn't taken much damage.
Why don't you stop taking math?
NA math. About 4 years ago, I want to say.
That's the recipe. Tushara going forward. Magnus, the target, the chakra, not gonna find him. Instead, it's Prescott. I mean, he has a whole snap burn. He just juggling forefront. They actually want to fight? No, the Prescott just attacked the creep instead. Going for the Orchid Bill as well. The classic Quasmox Invoker build. Which Dendy also loves going.
I was just about to say that, yeah. Dendy likes going for this one as well. We'll see if he actually imitates the style as well of Dendy and you know, ghost walks around the enemy jungle looking for pickoffs. That's kind of the
That's the old
style.
way it was built as well.
Huh?
Like it was just like, I want to play Clinks, but Clinks is not available,
But-
so
but
I'll
you-
play Invoker instead.
Actually, very true. I want to play
It's so
Clinks.
similar because the build-up was also the same, except before you didn't even go for the. No, you did go for the Air Combo, yeah.
No, yeah, you're totally, because it gave you the 1.5, I think, back then. It wasn't 1.8, because it got buffed kind of recently, because everyone was going Falcon Blade, and Ice was like, stop doing this. Build Urn, it's still a good item.
And people were building Witchblade on the Invoker, it's like, stop! Play this for Alright, Shop trying to find No Fear. Oh, instead they can actually catch up to TSA. There's the MD, kill off TSA. No Fear. At least slowing down Shara. With the cookie, they actually combine all the food there to turn her into a nice little medicine.
He's under pressure.
Yeah, very nicely done indeed. And that Tornado actually on the mark to have caught Limitless if he wasn't TPing already. Of course, he was already out of dodge by the time that Tornado's going to hit up Dendy with the haste root. Trying for a kill in mid lane. We've got Cold Snap invoked, but he's going to go ahead and back away after seeing Seiyu. Smiling Head actually does connect on a root, but we still have a little bit more mobility for Dendy left. He'll be totally okay as he gets a bottle refill, courtesy of TSA, who does actually not refill the bottle. He must have not TP'd from the fountain. A bit unfortunate for Dendy.
That was the biggest JK guys I have seen in a while for Dendy. Going in to try to kill Presskid and just immediately running off with a haste room. Like, I guess he's trading space by doing this. I mean, he's not wasting his time too much. Probably okay. Dendy usually plays a very sacrificial build. I think he's gonna let the Magnus nickel. Going for a very greedy build.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't farm very well with mech either, compared to going for something like the Echo Saber, or sometimes I want to say Midas on Magnus even. Is not too out of an ordinary, as Shara, top lane, is going to say hello to Limitless, who skewers it into the kinetic storm, or sorry, into the static storm. A good RP here will keep him locked down, but do they have the damage? Another glimpse here to try and bring him back, but he's just too tanky, man. Shara, with the Hood of Defiance, easily living, and now there's actually an Invoker coming to gank him.
Shara was looking at it, but that was way too far to the final boss. And the fifth one stopped, and that was ridiculous. CFB used by the Invoker, they can't catch up to the Magnus. Cast wins.
Oh wow!
But
It's already a full vessel. Sorry to interrupt you.
Oh, that's pretty great. But I mean, there's not a big target for the vessel. I'd say that actually you need a vessel for the Timber or something for the Timber. Because honestly, he's not even at his power spike anymore because the level 15 town is so major for him. I feel like if you get Shivas or something, which I'm assuming is your idea, I can't imagine anything else here. PA's not the best Scotty builder, so I guess Shiva's eventually on Void Spirit or Magnus.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's gonna be enough.
PA likes stats, but she really only wants Agi stats, so having the all stats is, although it's like the most whatever stat efficient item in the game, but the PA would rather go just for like, I don't know, something else. Once again, TSA breaking smokes here, yeah, damage too much for the crits. Seiyu is going to close the gap. There's going to be a pretty easy kill there.
Some people say if you look up in the night sky, you can see Seiyu still flying. No fear here. Might want to join his teammate apparently. Gets caught by the ice wall there. Pretty well done. No fear. Well, he wants to fight apparently. They kill the Presskid. And it's in for no fear at least. Vansker using his ultimate for Watson. Phantom Strike gets Watson away. For now though, as he's been soloed with whirling axes, the Magnus coming in. There's no RP to save him. Skewer to the low ground. Watson though fights the grandma. Don't bring a knife to a gunfight as the poor man dies together with the Magnus Limitless, having to sacrifice himself as well just for a dead PA, and then the stuck in the ice shards. He might need a final victim. He has Astral Step in a second, but he doesn't have time to use it. They'll ensure that Dendy also falls to the might of Team Empire.
Yeah, that was another bait by Nokia. I don't know if you caught that. He ends up dying, but he dies. Okay. The boss. the quintuple tip. And I'll tell you.
That was 100% a cry break. We get it. No fear. It's no big deal.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why they actually ended up tipping him there. So let me just cut this replay here.
Because of the bait that he made. That was impressive.
Yeah, and it was actually from the Centaur Conqueror here. Keep your eyes on this little Centaur Conqueror who's just about to enter the screen from the bottom right here. He's just attack moving here. He's No Fear. There he goes. No Fear playing the possum here. Well, he's about to play possum here. Gets lifted in the tornado, but there's going to be the stomp, and that's what allows him to turn and actually get the kill onto Depressed Kid. So he was probably still kind of happy with that. Unfortunately, it just turns into a terrible fight. Because Team Empire, they were prepping to invade the jungle anyway. Sorry, invade the triangle, I should specify. So they didn't have an ulti. Their Static Storm was ready, but not a great chance to use it there. There was no RP because we had just used it top lane to try and kill Petushar, which which didn't end up working. So even though the skewer was really nice and the follow-up kill was there, at least onto 2, it still actually ends up turning into a full team wipe in favor of Team Empire.
Yeah, I think that Empire understood their timing's better, even if the mechanics by Bait were really sold. Like, I agree with you, that was a really impressive Bait, now that I see it again. But at the same time, because your PA is just not ready to fight yet compared to the Troll, who's pretty much good to go, honestly, even though he only has Battle Fury. Trolls are naturally strong. PA, she did rush the Desolator this game, of course, because she has a Magnus, so she not under farm, but until you get BKB, you're a bit too vulnerable, we saw there. Everything can just kill this moment. So, I think Empire understood that better. Well played still by Bait, but Empire gets a little bit of a lead with that, and that will enable the Troll to get his next item. Once he gets SNY, I imagine we're going to see his Valley Knight very much more.
Yeah, definitely, and I think as much as I love the play from No Fear, especially as this little storyline, the lore continues to develop, as I like to call it, live in this match. You know, we've had the question mark, the all chat question mark, the quintuple tip after the immediate pause, you know. I don't think it's really what Bait need to be doing right now. It's like fighting, especially with PA. I think everyone else fighting, especially Dendi, who wants to fight going for the Yule Scepter, right? That makes a lot of sense. If he had gone Ags first, maybe he's not interested in fighting. As No Fear yet again is baiting, this time without the PA nearby. Smiley Knight's gonna kick him off. Immediately take the free kill here onto the Enchantress. There come the voice lines immediately. Seiyu looking for more. And as he ends up getting glimpsed back after using the snowball first, the TSA is gonna be shot down by the little shredder. So 2 deaths here for Bates. Again, and the reason I don't really think they need to be doing this is because I feel like they're playing into the tempo that Team Empire wants right now. I don't really know why they want to fight there regardless, because they were fighting without Mag, fighting next to an enemy tier 1 tower when you've already lost yours, as Petrushar is being a bit annoying versus Magnus. There's no backup here though, so Magnus is going to be easily able to leave.
Okay, I mean that's fine at least for Bait, right? They're just at least forcing enemy fights and to the TA, that's the team, right? I mean, I guess as long as your pay comes online, you're not too worried about this with Bait, because you do acknowledge that team fight for, like, the window for Empire is what, mid 20 to 30, when they're definitely going to be stronger than you, and then PA comes online and no longer is that window open for you. You can still fight in the late game, mind you, the game is not immediately over, but then PA comes online and is no longer a stronger draft on Empire side. They can withstand those 10 minutes of hell, which is going to be 10 minutes. I think they should be fine. Yeah, good team fight to do so.
Agreed. I completely agree. Petrushar, he was going to be pushing waves here, cutting waves, pun intended there, until he does get level 15, and then he's going to run at enemies. They're going to try again to kill him. He walks actually into the 8th remnant, doing him a bit of a favor, but the kinetic field is not set up in time. He's going to be glimpsed back in, but a nicely timed Timber Chain is going to get him away. Petrushar, man, back on the J178 days, before the days of the Rona, was not going to go to the ESL eliminator. That unfortunately never happened. Hold that thought. Mid lane, Magnus is in trouble, he's going to die, but he's very well known for the Centaur, but also he commends respect on the Timber Saw in case it's not a success.
It's a really good Timber game. He understands exactly where to draw the line this game. And they just don't, I mean, to be honest, it's a really good Timber game. They have no magical net. The best thing they have is really the Void Spirit, and to be honest, he has a decent amount of magical burst, but not for a kill as technical.
Yeah, I don't believe he's gone for the build. If he wants to kill Timber Saw, he wants to go Orchid or Axe, right?
Yeah, he does go for the Axe now, but it's still very difficult. I think actually you need Shard, to be honest. Shard gives you a bunch more damage on the sim. Maybe a Fatal on this team. It's just so difficult. Your best bet is to honestly ignore him. Maybe the last hero on the team fight is not going to do much. Once PA has BKB, you won't really need to care about it. He can't burst your supports that easily. Maybe Enchantress.
Dendi's under reward here. He's used both Astral Steps already. They're going to try again for Timber. No.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, they're going to hard to eat him. Alright, they're going to get him.
There we go.
Time he was a bit too aggressive. PA with plenty of damage now. 3 Mythril Hammers total on her. You know, 2 in the Desolator, of course, and especially with the Empower now maxed here, so level 4 is significant damage. So Timber, you're tanky, especially to physical damage, but not really to a 4v1 like that.
Yeah, exactly. So it's in the Timber end of the limitation, right? And now with Lotus Orb, it'll help him against physical damage a bit more, right? Also, it's still always useful, but as the game progresses, the PA should be able to kill you, right? That's why I don't think it's that big a threat. It's important for the early game space he made. He's done his role, and he's performed his job really adamantly, but there'll be a point where he falls off. That's just the nature.
Very true. Yeah. No Fear is going back to the same build as last game, by the way. He's already got the Dragonlance completed. So he's just looking to be more early damage, and I'm not against it, to be honest, because if he tries to play, well, one, obviously he's not going to go for the mech, considering Limitless already has one, but if he even wanted to play that style, it's a terrible game to do it, because we've got no lack of magic damage. Timber kills you instantly, Troll kills you instantly, Invoker just completely owns you, so at least he's like trying to do something this game, and I commend him for that. It's not going to be easy, because again, he dies to literally everything, especially after the old chat question mark. I think there's a big target on this deer, but you know, he should be able to do some damage at least with this item.
I don't love this game. I didn't go for. Oh wait, actually, it's a fight coming happening. Yes, yeah, Static Storm is used immediately. He wants to use it. Doesn't want to use it apparently. As Dandy does TP in. I don't think this is a fight you want to take though, Bait.
No, yeah,
But Tushara, he did catch Watson, had the BKB available. Watson with a Phantom Strike. The Magnus walks in though. He didn't get the memo. Limitless. So where is Timo's gonna leave? Nice little play there with the Ironwood tree there by Tushara to guarantee the kill on Magnus. Okay, not great here. I'm actually gonna say, by the way, that on the Enchanters, I'd love to see where's this game, particularly because I
okay.
feel like everything with PA. This game is much more valuable than last one. Last one, okay, it's a nice build. This game, it's hard to understand why you'd rather have your own damage when you're kind of food for Timber compared to letting the PA destroy. Seems to be your game plan.
Yeah, that's a very fair point you bring up, and I think No Fear, he's going to double down, so, you know, again, I'm going to commend him for this, because he's not at least doing halfsies, which doesn't really lead you to do, you know, good at anything. I think Dota, you got to be, I think you got to go all out in Dota, because if you don't, then there's other heroes that do your job better.
Night, Static Storm. Yeah, BKB does not, has Aegis though, yeah. Aegis, I mean, that's, Aegis has 2 minutes left on it. I guess if they leave in time and they don't lose anyone, it's a decent win for Bait. Tushara wants to, of course, follow this up. They still have an RP. Using it just for the Timber seems like a waste, but the Magnus also in trouble. Has a mech still to kill back up. But with the Spirit Vessel, he won't kill too much. That's why he's waiting for it. He has to use it towards the end. Not going to be enough healing. That's going to be Limitless dying. In addition to No Fear following him to the grave. Empire taking down the 2 heroes only for an Aegis. Which, again, at 2 minutes, decent, but definitely not worth your Magnus.
Yeah, it's definitely not worth it, even if they RP there, because obviously he was, you know, he recognizes that and doesn't end up wasting it. I actually think that's not that bad. I think losing a tier 2 tower is definitely the worst part about it. They should have been very clear and just, hey, we are going to take Aegis, we are going to run the hell away.
Yes.
Because it looked like they maybe considered trying to get the second life as well, and very quickly decided against it. But that split-second decision, or lack of decision, I guess, it kind of, I think, turns that into a bit of a win for Empire, getting that top tier 2 tower. Now they've got a lot of control over the triangle, and even though we do have a late game PA that's got a lot of potential here, it's a good soundtrack for the press kid, a lot of trees cut down, but not enough mana for Yules. Not enough mana for Yules. A little bit of a mistake there for Petushara to cancel the TP of Dendi. We need space for the PA to farm, and if you give up kills and fights like that lead into you losing a lot of map control, then the strategy just doesn't work.
I agree, but at the same time, now the PA is finally getting to that point where she won't be able to fight control head on, right?
True.
So, yes, you have lost a fair amount of map control, but not enough for Empire to have completely sentenced the game. I do feel like Bait has a comeback mechanic available. Nice team fight, good carry, a good core-to-core matchup, and Tushara, again, he is becoming not by much, but weaker enough that they might give they might be a ring of opportunity.
They're baiting Dendi as they will not be able to dispel the smoke. Dendi's going in. We got to blink on Magnus here as well, but nice micro is going to stop him from actually getting stuck behind the Ace around it. They will still pull it back in. RP onto 2 for the big surprise. They've got Sayu as well. They're not going to save the fight. So pick up the snowball though. Gets it raining down a little bit. He's going to go down to Smiley Knight, but Watson with the BKB onto Vanscore, trying to blow him up, but they're going to get the match, keeping him alive. Smiley Knight and Petushara both trying to focus on the Watson, who's going to blink strike on over to Dendi. Phantom Strike, pardon me. Glimpse is going to be used onto the Timber Saw to send him on back. But another Phantom Strike gets Watson into the river, trying to maybe crit down Sayu, who's trying to hold him down here. Snowball incoming now. Dendi from the side. Well, actually has good spells and mobility. Watson continuing to try and run it. Sayu nearly getting chunked there by the infinite shot of No Fear. Another Phantom Strike over the mid lane for Watson. Does clear him out of trouble, is now perhaps Petushara in the line of fire. But can they kill him is the question, Albo. It seems like they finally learned his mouse. Mouse? Voice.
That was kind of insane, actually, by Watson, though. What a play! Like, I mean, not just see, TeamSpeak. These are true Dota players, not using Discord like the Zoom. They're true Dota players. Okay, so that's an incredible fight by Watson, but I gotta commend Dendy as well, or not just Dendy, but the whole team, because they stayed always in enough range of Watson so you could Phantom Strike to them. Very low cooldown spell, and they had a hard time catching up to Watson because of that positioning by them. I think the RP was fine, honestly, sacrificing your Magnus, which went for a full initiation and utility build, for an Invoker who went a bit more into an impactful build, seems completely fair to me. On the bait side, it's a good trade. You're giving space to the PA, who's soon to get a Basher, which will make killing the Snapfire, for example, or the Tusk, or whatever, easier. I like that fight by bait. I think it's a solid fight. Empire, they need to win the next fight if they want to keep their lead.
Yeah, I agree with you. Watson really highlighting the strength of a BKB here, especially when they do kind of lack a BKB piercing catch. Really, it's going to be up to the troll eventually to get a Basher or something online, but even that's going to be delayed. If he wants to kill PA, he's going to have to get that Monkey King bar first, so as we can see that queued up already. So it's not going to be straight into the Basher. Pardon me, like I think Smiling Knight would like to usually build on the Troll Warlord for the independent catch. So yeah, a good fight from Bates. Nice job on the positioning from Phantom Strike. Seiyu buys back as well for that, so it's a 3 for 1. Sorry, pardon me. In exchange for only the Magnus.
Exactly. I think that's the kind of plays that honestly Limitless should be making. As long as you can find the Invoker, sacrifice yourself, it's fine. It really isn't that big a deal. Because of the space that you're also giving Dendy here. And DMKB is a fine item for Troll. I don't think he's too sad about deviating this item, but compared to other heroes, right?
Faces a stiff wind.
Definitely, yeah.
That said, though, you're right about the This would not be the usual build. It's really just to deal with PA, and the PA with Basher should be able to kill almost everyone except for Timber, maybe. Still godly.
Yeah, we need probably 2 ultimates at least for Timbersaw to kill him, so which is really just the 2 of them, right? Static Storm and RP is not really much of an ultimate. I guess maybe if Dendy gets both Astral Steps out, he's got a chance, but it's very hopeful. They really need some big ultis, big lockdown on Timber, or just ignore him like he did in that fight.
You know one thing Watson could consider, honestly, gets far out here. That's a big AB, so he can still run out. More response for now. RP, the cover, they want to counter Nishi with this BKB, and they lose at you first. Then a snowball lost. Skewer to prevent a troll. Cutting storm to the troll. Will it field? Not going to come out until later. Smiling at already has BKB. They're trying to kite him for now as TSA gets rid of Kutushara in the backlands. Watson does finish off the support, but he might die himself on the Spirit Vessel. Needs to survive. The Presky tries to get Sunstrike. Watson goes the wrong, or the right way, actually. Because TP's on cooldown. He just want to give him more time so he can survive. Dendy doing the same thing with Smiling Knight. Thanks to the Astral Step, he's going to live for now as Watson finds the Preskin. The Preskin knows the cold snap. Watson can't do much, just attack him, but has no life steal to help him. So that's going to be Watson falling in the end to the Preskin as Dendy did all of this dancing for nothing. Poor Watson still died. They gave us much space as possible, but he was caught in a really difficult position there.
Yeah, unfortunately, he thought about running into these trees, but there was a dire creep wave in the way, so he couldn't have just done that because obviously the blur would have been broken. Really, really good catch from Smiley Knight, or sorry, for Depressed Kid, who very quickly realized that, well, he can't be in the river because we'd scout him with a ward. Must have gone somewhere in this general area. Yeah. Almost hit him with a Sunstrike as well.
That was incredible.
Yeah, really nicely done. And of course, shout out to Dendy, who just takes Smiling Knight for a walk. He took him like all the way over here.
It was awful. Like, I think if Watson had chosen not to fight, what is Denver was going great. I thought if Watson just chose to retreat immediately, that would have worked for them, you know? And like, even if Watson had chosen to go just the straight way, essentially, with while the BKB was kind of still active, it would have worked fine. But they saw the opportunity with a great RP by Limitless. I think they went for it, and that was just not the right call. Whoever made it in the team, right? Because it was so difficult to get Watson out, despite how well they played that fight. Again, good tactic, or sorry, good mechanics, but the tactic better for Empire.
Yeah, I think they were sorely disappointed not to find any big crits in those first 3 auto attacks that he had into the RP. As, oh, okay, that was an aggressive Yule Scepter. That was an aggressive Yule. Was that for Dendy? Yeah.
I mean, I think it should be Yules into Ether Remnant and then the Skewer, or the Skewer after the Yules. That was a weird play by the Skewer. A bit too hasty. I mean, Limitless is relatively new to playing at this level of competitors as possible. They haven't honed these kind of communication skills. It's fine. They will get better if they stay with the roster, please. Okay, they get 8 crits, they commit the RP. Worth it, they kill Repress Kid, use the BKB to finish him off. The snowball saves him, he's a Static Storm. Then they kill as well, but the BKB will save him. Oh, the cookie up top, but the Repress Kid's alive! The Invoker didn't fall! Now the counter nation is up to Watson, who can't get away with a Phantom Strike. They can catch up to it relatively easily. The Yule Scepter used with a punch here from the Preskin. Yelling off his aggressor. TSA in a similar position will also fall. Empire. Wow, what a play there, honestly. Getting away with Evoker. It's literally a sliver of his life. Sunny, you on the tusk. What a performance from him.
Yeah, that's going to be Aegis now down as well. Sayu somehow lived in that fight, and I say somehow because he dodged the impetus attack, like it missed. But what the heck could have caused that? Is there a radiance on someone that I don't know about? Does Tusk have an invasion talent? How did he dodge that attack? There was an impetus attack that was gonna kill him.
High ground?
No, he was in the river. I don't know. Well, no clue.
I don't know. I'm actually unsure. I didn't play edits.
Yeah, that's.
The replay.
Yeah, well, we'll take a look at it here in a second, but it's going to be up to high ground here for Team Empire pretty much exactly when they want to, as with Aegis now still, actually now with the Aghanim charge, we've got the Rampage ready to use for Troll Warlord. It's got the same sound cue as Battlefront, so we'll try and call that out as there is a difference.
No fear. Oh, okay. They brought back the Timbersaw.
Oh, they broke it.
The Phantom Knight is actually a good way to deal with the Timbersaw. However, they can just keep him at bay. They use the Rampage for this, by the way, not the Battle Trance.
Yep.
And with the Guardian Greaves, Empire just goes back up. They're fine. Like, they just back off after this, wait for the next creep wave to push, stay in the triangle, push mid at the top, and dominate these two lanes easily.
That was a really good fight from Empire, though, as they pretty much get everything they want out of it. Seiyu with a fantastic snowball in. Unfortunately, they probably should have just ended up using Static Storm preemptively there to make sure that anyone that was going to try and save him couldn't use any spells. That was not the case here. Well, so we can't take a look at that because Watson might get jumped here. Has Basher going for the full Abyssal Blade next.
Okay.
But they're going to retreat. Bendy
Oh, no,
is under vision.
That's the best way to control him now. And the damage is incredible with tag teams. The troll being the PA by a solid 6k farm makes it really difficult for the score to quarterback. Even if I would usually favor PA, on it there's a whole, what, item and a half difference obviously?
Yeah.
And the Valkyrie and Solar Crest, which again, they did not build.
We've got the important item as well, Patroller, specifically with that 6k, right? It's the MKB, which makes PA's game very difficult to play. Finally, Knight gets the 2-3 tower, half the HP of the melee barracks before having to reset for another wave. They've got wards here on the low ground, so Bates had vision on Empire, but Empire also have got good wards on the high ground of Bates. Lincoln RP is ready. Denny's back in 10 seconds. Troll is a little bit hesitant to push up himself, so we'll send Petushara up front first. He's going to be screwed underneath the tier 4 towers into a Static Storm. He is enough of a damage, though. Watson ready to go, but the Uber Bind will get more time. There's the break up from the Phantom Knight. Cookie is going to stun up Nope here as well. Chopper onto him. Not enough damage for him to die, but there's going to be Troll with the head damage actually getting the kill onto Nope. Fear. Hits is now raining down. They come to the retreat, but there's now a glimpse on his Monday night. Aghanim scepter for Denny. There's down to 1, but he does have now the RP. And 3, but there's no follow-up damage immediately. Locking down Van Score. Monday night now out the battle trap. Looking to try and counter-initiate it. Denny holding him down a bit longer. A good tornado out from the press kit. Prevents the silence from coming through. Another glimpse thanks to the ward. Force Smiley Knight will secure the first Aegis. First life, sorry.
Yeah, he's out back score as well, but in the backline, this is a little bit of a spawn for this kill. And Watson after the jump Smiling Knight's line dealing too much damage that he cannot win in the mano-a-mano against Smiling Knight.
Glimpse
which,
two.
now, they do have glimpse, they will bring back, I think that's Sayu with a snowball saving it yet again. Someone stop Sayu! This man has literally nullified the disruptor pick this whole game. And despite a really good RP, I was surprised Watson just wasn't in range as supposed to jump onto them because he didn't do anything in that RP.
Yeah, he didn't really react to it, did he? As I'll try and actually pull up a couple of replays of that, because that was quite the fight. We'll go with this one. Yeah, I mean, it was a good initiation this time around. Again, with the Phantom Knives, they got plenty of damage, but the Yule Scepter, not having the Aghanim Scepter on the Disruptor means, of course, he can just freely cast his items as normal. It doesn't have the BKB, but doesn't really need it, because that 2.5 seconds of basically a damage invulnerability wasn't enough for Team Empire to kind of get a half-decent fight in there. And they almost tried to disengage once, twice, thrice, but brought back all 3 times by the glimpse of TSA. And again, that's these wards really coming into play here that are just kind of chilling by the Bates emblem.
Gotta give it to Watson, the Phantom Knives there was after. I think that ability is honestly almost got them back. So, because they got rid of pretty much their biggest problem, which is Petushara with the Phantom Knives, because it's not just the break, it's also the percentage HP damage that it poses. There's absolutely timber sauce. I mean, if there's anything that's going to help you bring you back, it's this. However, the problem now is how do you deal with the troll? It has to be insane initiation with Magnus every single time, or potentially an accident disruptor, which honestly at this point, just my shard, like buff your PA, I don't know why she has 0 buffs from coming from team, whereas the troll has the deal, or has the alacrity plus the solar crest. I get tornado as a dispel, but I don't think that's enough to justify that.
They must think that Empower is good enough this game. I don't know. Like, I agree with you, right? Because we got the full Hurricane Pike on No Fear. He's basically out here playing back when position 4 is when, you know, you pick Silencer position 4, and his first item was the Force Staff or the Dragonlance, right? He's kind of bringing it back to those days of the Enchantress picks. Consistent in his performance for game number 1. He is dishing out a good amount of damage here, and there's not much else he can be expected to do on the edge this game with this many counters, but I agree. Why not the Solar Crest? It's cheap.
I feel like you should be much more utility. Like, this Enchantress helps you if you're winning, and help you if you're farm. At this point, like, No Fear feels when he's stuck and he can't do much, because what does he do? You know, he can't build up into further items. Yes, he provides some damage, but as you said, this damage is once you get the ag. That whole combo allows the Enchantress to live. But just the Hurricane Pike.
Dire are scanning
Compared
for
to the Impact
enemies.
So, well, first game I thought it was a good idea. The inflexibility in this game I not love by No Fear, especially when you have a much better.
We are going to be probably looking for another smoke play here from Empire. Although, weirdly, Roshan is in that 3-minute window, or sorry, 2-minute window where you're not sure how long it's going to be. So another 2 to 5 minutes until Roshan is back. Normally, teams won't really go for full 5-man smokes during this period. Team Empire are not one of those teams, as they will smoke as 4 and maybe try and make a play, surprising baits, getting them on the back foot. Dendi with a really good position here to be held, but I don't believe TSA will be as lucky, as he's looking to try and set up some vision. Seiyu has vision of No Fear, trying to jump in. That Untouchable making the animation a bit difficult, but yeah, they've got plenty of damage for him. Not a great smoke.
I mean, you're already in a really difficult position if you
Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Dire structures are fortified.
Unless they can see a Magnus here 3.
Oops.
Okay, Rusk has the snowball obviously. They use the Rampage. I'm not really sure why, but there's that Limitless. Cut the lane, you could argue.
Yeah, space. It's space for Watson, who's queued up 4 Divine Rapiers, because that's kind of what they need to get back into this game at this stage. Down 23k. They just need damage. Absolutely. They just need damage, and they need to get lucky on these crits, and they need Watson to capitalize off of the pretty good RPs that Limitless has been able to get these games. The RPs themselves have been well utilized, as in he's catching the right heroes. The question is, are Bait all on the same page about when this RP is going to happen, who to target, is Watson in range, etc., etc.? That seems to be more the issue, but actually, Limitless without buyback is not going to be around here to defend these barracks.
Well, we're going to try to...
Is under attack.
Gear 3 first.
Dire's courier
The
has
bottom
been
lane.
killed.
Now,
Radiant's
Limitless, actually without Watson as well, that's going to be the increase.
Yeah, it's going to be Megas for sure, but that's Divine Rapier now for the PA, so it's something.
Yeah.
The Dire now have
Okay, that's the last objective. Like, they don't need to wait for anything any longer. The Navies will do the job for them. Now, cutting lanes is super difficult. I was suggest the PA axe maybe, you know, because that would help you cut lanes, but not anymore, not with Mig.
Dire's middle tower
Megas,
is under
absolutely.
attack.
And I feel like not with the amount of jump they have, Invoker could just kind of ghost walk up to you. Went for Shivas. He's going to be going for the Sheepstick next, though, and I think that's going to be the killing blow here to Bait if it doesn't happen off of a team fight. They do find themselves now on the back foot. Second Roshan going to be taking a little while to respawn, just 1 more minute necessary. We'll have Aegis, of course, Cheese, and that Aghanim's Shard, or if I'm not mistaken. Or is this third Roche? This is third Roche, thank you.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Now go. The Troll Warlord goes. And yeah, he's battle tracks. Won't survive this. Won't actually able to fair amount of damage here. And then he's pushing the bait. Well, in here with an odd skewer. I guess trying to get some more space for his team. But that didn't work out. He just lost his life there, Limitless.
Yeah, I'd say he was literally winning on this game. That was a game-saving, not really game-winning, but a game-saving snowball. Smiling Knights gets the time, not being perma-stunned to actually activate the BKB, and then just Battle Trance to completely turn that one on its head. Now they're just going to wait for Roche, which is up in 10 seconds. Aegis, She's, and either a Refresher Shard or an Aghanim's Blessing. I think Ag's Blessing, and the game's just over. Troll's going to be way too damn strong with that Dispel.
Double check them out.
Watson's trying to snipe Vance, so he's got a Gold Scepter. That's Divine Rapier that's been scouted. There's no BKB for 25 seconds. He's just perfect action dead. That should be GG, as they call it. And they can tip on an Oker.